We have no need to keep up this shame of a marriage anymore, Amara. Let's divorce. After passionate physical interaction, the only thing Amara could hear was combined panting and the sound of their heartbeats. Yet his very next words felt like a sharp knife stabled to her heart. What? Amara finally managed to ask, after a long silence between them. She hoped what she heard before was only some trick played on her by her mind. You heard me. Now that grandfather is no longer here, I think it's time we get a divorce. Tobias answered without missing a beat. You want a divorce? Then why did you did that to me just now? Tobias looked at her with an expression that was void of affection, void of any emotion other than hate and resentment. It's only physical interaction. There's no love between you and me. I married you only because of Grandpa. Her face turned pale, and her eyes wet. They were still bare on the bed. He used her and then wanted to kick her off. How shameless! Her lips trembled in tears. Amara never expected herself to suffer such a humiliation. Come on, Amara. Don't act like you're an innocent dove. You know how our marriage came. You saved my grandfather and you used this to threaten him. That's why he forced me to marry you. That's the whole truth about our marriage. No, Tobias, it's not like that. Amara shook her head desperately. I didn't threaten grandfather. I married you just because I love you. Enough! Stop bothering me. Tobias threw on his trousers and a white shirt, clearly preparing to leave. I'll have the divorce documents sent to you as soon as possible, so quietly sign them without kicking up a fuss. Amara couldn't believe the words she was hearing. Her eyes fluttered furiously, desperately trying to hold back tears that had gathered in the bottom of her eyes. The scene before Gustavo's death came to her mind. The dying old man put Tobias's and her hands together, kindly telling them to love each other and make a happy life. Amara, my kid, I know you have suffered a lot, but please, please take good care of Tobias for me. I know only you can make it. His last words lingered in her ears, fueling her resolve. She couldn't let Tobias go just like this. She had to remind him what he would cost if he was determined to get out of this marriage. Are you sure you want a divorce? She got off the bed and put on her nightgown, facing Tobias's gaze. The fact that no little love she could feel from those beautiful eyes stung her. But she didn't want to fail Gustavo. She didn't want a divorce. So, Tobias, shall I remind you of the agreement that Grandpa set up for us? If you divorce me because of your affair, I'll get half of your property. Are you ready to give that up for Celestine? Immediately, his jaw was set and his eyes were dark and dangerous. Finally show your true color, huh? He grabbed her chin rudely and hissed, Admit it, Amara. You married me only for money, you disgusting gold digger. Gold digger? Was that how he saw her? If only he knew what she had abandoned for loving him. Tobias, she gripped his hand that held her chin. At that moment, she had an impulse to tell him all the truth, but he threw her hand away first, causing her to fall on the bed. Do you honestly believe I'll let you succeed? Wake up. Amara, you have no option. You'll leave this marriage with no penny, or else that little friend of yours, Melanie Woods, her business would bear the brunt of it, I swear. Amara felt an air pause in her lungs. Did he just threaten to ruin the career of her best friend? What's wrong with you? She found her voice at last, but it came out more like a whisper, while her eyes searched his emotionless ones. What the heck is wrong with you, Tobias? Why are you going to such an extent just because I don't want to divorce you? It's simple. This marriage has only held me back, and I want to end it ASAP. With this, he turned and walked out the door. The finality in his stance and movement snuffed out whatever faith Amara left in her. Silently, she sat on the bed, tears streaming down her face. How did they end up like this? She still remembered the first day they met. He saved her from drowning, and it was her destiny to fall for him. They used to be good companions until that woman appeared, Celestine White. Amara had never thought of forcing Tobias to love her. She was even ready to let him go silently and return to her original home. But he suddenly appeared and asked her to marry him to fulfill Grandpa's wish. She agreed to this marriage for love. Yet later did she learn that all he did was still for Celestine, to protect her from Gustavo's persecution. But why didn't he tell her directly? Why did he sleep with her when his heart had another woman? Amara felt her heart full of misery. Tobias could have just told her the truth and she would cooperate to play this show. And then she didn't need to waste her youth of so many years to dream an impossible dream. He gave her hope and then shattered it heartlessly. Her silent cell phone buzzed again. With trembling fingers, Amara clicked it to open. She had to see what else Celestine was planning for her. It was only a photo, but it was enough to fuel her anger. Celestine was wearing an impressive black ring, the ring that only belonged to the hostess of the Larsen family. Nearly at once, Amara knew why Tobias was so impatient. He couldn't wait to divorce her and then marry Celestine. There was no more reason for her to stay in this marriage. Amara thought bitterly, and she believed that Gustavo could understand her decision. Packing up her things, she left the Larsen estate. It was only after she felt a tiny wet drop land on her forehead did she snap out of her thoughts and took notice of her surroundings. It was raining. Tears flowed down her face, mingling with the rain as the sky seemed to mirror the state of her heart. But not a single sound escaped her lips. She stood there, quietly letting her tears fall, her shoulders slumped and her hair wet. Suddenly, she felt the rain stop where she stood. She turned and saw the face of a familiar individual, a face ridiculed with concern. "Miss Crawford," Xavier, the exclusive butler of the Crawford, greeted. Amara didn't respond. Instead, she let the man wrap a coat around her shoulders, damping out the chill nature of her wet dress before he continued. "The time limit given was about to expire. It's time for you to divorce Mr. Larsen and come home to manage the family business. The master is calling for your return as the one and only rightful ruler."